Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Ace from Discover Japanese Books. On this channel, I introduce Japanese books you may have never encountered before. Have you ever wondered what kinds of ideas shape Japanese culture, or which books are making headlines in Japan right now? Japan is full of wonderful ideas and knowledge that are not yet widely known overseas. Through these books, I hope to share that wisdom with you and help inspire your tomorrow. This time, it's the continuation of the previous video, and the book I'm introducing today is, here it is. It's Ikakata, What It Means to Be Human, written by Kazuo Inamori. Through this book, there are 3 key messages I'd like to share with you. The first point, thinking from fundamental principles, was introduced in the previous video. So if you're interested, please check out that video as well. Alright then, let's dive right in. The second message I want to share is, live with a spirit of altruism. Back when Kazuo was still a small company, Inamori once spoke to a new employee who was complaining. I thought this would be a better company, but the benefits aren't well developed and the working conditions aren't great. Inamori replied, it's true that right now our company is still small, with limited facilities and systems. But it's up to you to help us grow into a great company with proper benefits. Don't just wait to be given those things, create them yourself. When I read this, I thought to myself, that's absolutely true. Have you ever complained about your company or about the people around you? I know I have. Back when I was a college student, every time I met my friends, I would complain about my professors or my part-time job manager. Looking back now, it's honestly pretty embarrassing. People who are always in the position of receiving from others tend to notice only what's missing and end up complaining all the time. But that's not the right mindset. Especially once we become working adults, we should stand on the side of giving, and focus on contributing to those around us. Inamori says that, to do this, we need to completely turn our view of life and the world upside down. We must put others before ourselves, and sometimes even sacrifice our own interests to serve the people around us. That kind of compassionate mindset is what truly matters. Now, let me share an interesting story about heaven and hell. This is just a parable told by a Buddhist master, but let me ask you, do you know what really makes heaven and hell different? Of course, the image of heaven and hell may differ depending on one's religion. But according to the Buddhist master, there is no difference at all in how they look. The only difference lies in the hearts of the people there. Both heaven and hell, he says, have a huge pot filled with delicious udon noodles boiling away. The challenge, however, is that the only utensils provided are chopsticks that are 1 meter long. In hell, people all try to grab the udon for themselves, desperate to eat before anyone else. They plunge their long chopsticks into the pot, but it never works. Eventually, they start fighting, even trying to snatch the noodles from others. The udon scatters everywhere, and in the end, no one is able to eat a single bite. So even with delicious noodles right in front of them, everyone in hell is starving and wasting away. In heaven, however, even under the same conditions, the scene is completely different. When someone picks up the udon with their long chopsticks, they reach across the pot and feed the person on the other side, saying, please, you go first. The other person eats and replies with gratitude, thank you. Now it's your turn, and then does the same in return. In this way, everyone in heaven is able to eat peacefully, and the place is filled with abundance and harmony. In short, it all depends on whether people have a warm and compassionate heart. That's what turns a place into either heaven or hell. And isn't the same true for the society we live in today? If someone only puts themselves first, or casually complains about others, happiness will never come to them. Inamori teaches that the very same principle applies to our work as well. For example, instead of thinking only about making a profit for one's own company, a business should also aim to help its partners earn profits, while contributing to the interests of consumers, shareholders, and even the local community. Furthermore, by extending our spirit of altruism as widely as possible, from ourselves to our family, from family to the local community, then to society, and even to the nation, the world, and the universe, we naturally develop a broader perspective. This allows us to pay attention to various events around us. As a result, we can make objective and correct decisions, and we become better able to avoid mistakes. Inamori is concerned that in modern Japan, the rapid development of scientific civilization may have led to a loss of moral values. Traditionally, religion has taught the moral principles and basic rules necessary for living as a human being. In Japan, the main examples of this are Buddhism and Shinto. Indeed, when I was a child, my mother often told me, even if you do something bad in secret, the sun is watching. God is watching. Nowadays, along with the rapid development of science and technology, these religious teachings are being forgotten. Moreover, as adults, we often focus so much on individualized education that we fail to properly teach children the basic rules and morals that every human should learn. Even in kindergartens, free education is promoted, leaving young children, who are not yet aware of the world, largely to their own devices. Inamori challenges us with the question, is this really okay? Personally, I agree with him. Indeed, even just walking around my neighborhood, I see more adults who don't greet others, and in tourist spots, I often see news about people not following the rules. While diversity is increasing, some use it as an excuse to break the rules that should be followed. But isn't that a bit off? I often find myself thinking about this on my own. How is it in your country? The third message I want to share is the invisible hand. Some of you might be thinking, what's that? I thought the same at first. Here, the first meaning of the invisible hand is fate, and the second is the law of cause and effect. When we talk about fate, we often hear phrases like, those two were destined to marry, or guided by destiny. In other words, it's something that is determined from the very beginning. On the other hand, the law of cause and effect refers to the idea that good actions lead to good outcomes, while bad actions lead to bad outcomes. These two forces, fate and the law of cause and effect, intertwine in complex ways and influence our lives. What's interesting is that the law of cause and effect is said to have slightly more power than fate. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? If fate were stronger, no one would make any effort and could just blame everything on destiny. But if we live with the mindset that good actions bring good results, it motivates us to do our best. Have you ever thought, but even when I do good things, bad things just keep happening? Inamori says that it takes a long time for the law of cause and effect to fully work. Inamori has spent over 40 years at the forefront of business and has met countless people. From this experience, he has come to strongly believe in the power of the law of cause and effect. Sometimes people who do bad things may succeed by chance or momentum, and those who strive to do good may face temporary misfortune. However, over time, these imbalances are gradually corrected. Eventually, everyone receives outcomes that match their actions and way of life, settling into circumstances that are appropriate for them. Inamori says it's truly remarkable, almost frightening, how precisely causes and results align. When I reflect on my own life, I can truly see how both my strengths and weaknesses are reflected in the life I lead. How about your life? I hope that watching this video gives you energy for tomorrow and helps make your life better. Cause and effect. If you do good, your life will surely improve. Let's believe in this together and keep doing our best. From Inamori, I have learned 3 important lessons. Think from first principles, live with an altruistic heart, and the invisible hand. Personally, I have a habit of prioritizing what I want while at work, so I've decided to focus a little more on helping the people around me find happiness too. Thank you all for listening until the very end. I hope to continue introducing Japanese books like this, to help make your life even more colorful. If you enjoyed this video or are curious about what's coming next, please make sure to subscribe to the channel.